What is the purpose of the United Nations? The UN has such tremendous potential. I've always said it. It has such tremendous potential. But it's not even coming close to living up to that potential. For the most part, at least for now, all they seem to do is write a really strongly worded letter.
Yes, the President of the United Nations. A lot of great stuff. He's going off on them on climate change and your carbon footprint and about all the green scam and the predictions made by stupid people. And it's all a lot of hooey, a lot of BS, he says. You know, the rising levels of the ocean, but not around Barack Obama's oceanfront estates in Hawaii and in, on Martha's Vineyard in Massachusetts, Gesundheit. Also, I have an update for you because Jimmy Kimmel's show will air tonight on ABC Disney stations across the country, but now it started with Sinclair Broadcasting. They own the ABC station in Washington, D.C., saying they will not be airing Jimmy Kimmel's show tonight. And now Nexstar, another group that owns lots and lots of ABC stations across the country, TV stations, they say they will not be airing the Jimmy Kimmel show tonight either. So he's making his big comeback with fewer and fewer stations, as it turns out. And that won't be good for his ratings. But Sinclair and Nexstar, both of them now, Sinclair leading the way, I've got to say, now saying they're not going to be carrying the Jimmy Kimmel show. And he can go on there and act like the rumpus that he is, the rectal aperture that he is, and that's fine. Honestly, it is. I mean, he's got all the free speech in the world, and Disney and ABC can air him if they want. It doesn't make a lot of sense, but maybe they're not in business to be in business. So we've got that going. Yes, we do. And let me say, talking to Jim in Lake Geneva, former United States Marine, and talking about being out shooting with a buddy and using a 30-06, wonderful rifle, and talking about being fired at 175 yards and shattering cinder blocks because 30-06 is a very capable, very powerful, high-velocity round. I have a wonderful rifle that's quite similar, and it's the Springfield, the SOCOM 16 M1 SOCOM 16, and it's a heck of a rifle. And I got to tell you, it is very peculiar. And I'm glad Jim brought it up because it's not something that I had talked about or even looked for. Because who would assume that a high-powered rifle round would stop in someone's neck? Your neck would have to be made of it would blow apart concrete, as Jim just said, talking about cinder blocks at 175 yards. So how could that be? And I went and I looked it up, and I want to share it with you. And News Nation has a perfectly good right through here. Charlie Kirk stopping bullet, a life-saving miracle, spokesman says. Now, this is quite a remarkable story, and I tell you the truth, I had not even seen this. But here's the wild story. The bullet that struck Charlie Kirk in the neck, according to these accounts, did not exit his neck, and that is really hard to believe. The high-velocity bullet that claimed the life of Charlie Kirk on September 10th miraculously did not exit the conservative activists and harm others at the crowded event where Charlie Kirk was assassinated, the executive producer of the Charlie Kirk Show said on Saturday. Kirk was fatally wounded when a sniper fired a single round from 200 yards away on the campus of Utah Valley University and struck him in the neck. Andrew Colvett, and he is a very close confidant of Charlie Kirk. Andrew Colvett, who produced Kirk's popular talk show, suggested that the bullet's failure to injure or kill others who are behind Kirk is cause for celebration. He said the surgeon who tried to save Kirk at the hospital expressed surprise the bullet went no further, but noted the density of the patient's body. Well, I mean, it'd have to be titanium, I would think. That is extremely peculiar. The bullet, and quoting now, should have just gone through and through, end quote. It's likely it would have killed those standing behind him, too, Colvett said. The physician told him on Saturday. The anecdote was shared on the social media platform X. The coroner found the bullet just beneath the skin. That's a quote, just beneath the skin, said Colvett, who also serves as spokesman for Kirk's Turning Point USA. Even in death, he said, Charlie managed to save the lives of those around him. Remarkable, miraculous, he said. Now, that is impossible to believe. It is. It is extremely peculiar. And our friend Jim in Lake Geneva was saying, and if you look at the video, you see people in the crowd making hand signals, look like maybe military hand signals, peculiar, maybe something broader going on here. But, you know, it's good that the killer, the gunman, wasn't killed. Tyler Robinson is his name, 22 years old. And if he had been killed by the police or even killed himself before being captured or after being captured, then it would spawn conspiracy theories, at least all over the place. Now, Colvett said that he had permission to share the information on Saturday, the eve of Charlie Kirk's memorial service in suburban Phoenix. He said he was responding to the online chatter about the lack of an exit wound. Very, very strange. And the video, which was then scrubbed from the internet, which I saw, and I know that a lot of you saw also, the video showed the bullet entering the front of his neck, next to his trachea, on the left of center line. And I've got to say, you would any rational person who knows anything about firearms would say, well, that type of a rifle round would certainly cut right through like butter, and certainly shouldn't stop. And just beneath the skin, that is almost impossible to believe. Now, I'm going to go back and look at more videos of the crowd. There's that one guy in the crowd that was celebrating and jumping up and down, and we've heard nothing more about him, but I would like to hear more about that individual as well. So police recovered the presumed murder weapon, a high-powered bolt-action rifle, after the gunman jumped from a roof on the UVU campus and fled into a wooded area. The 22-year-old suspect, Tyler Robinson, was arrested 33 hours after the shooting and has been charged with aggravated murder. Utah Governor Spencer Cox has called the killing a political assassination and says Robinson had become radicalized. The gunman, the Democrat, the killer. In response to Colvett's statement on Saturday, News Nation reached out to the hospital, right, that received Charlie Kirk before he was pronounced dead. And that is an extremely strange reality. And I'm glad, Jim, I'm glad you called in from beautiful Lake Geneva in Wisconsin. Just wonderful. Probably too many Chicago people up there. And last time talking about Lake Geneva, they got MS-13 there now, too, because of the Democrats, because of the Democrat Party. 100% because of the Democrat Party. All right, now let's get to some of the Kamala Harris, because she is really something. All right, and that starts at number one, doesn't it? Kamala Harris on her new book. Her new book is, I think it's coming out today, and it was allegedly written by her, but probably by somebody else with a little bit of help from her. That's how it usually works for the Democrats. And then normally the Democrats have their union reps buy up truckloads of them, and they're declared New York Times bestseller lists winners and on and on. But it's usually crooked. Kamala. We've got this one. Let's jump ahead to the, and then we'll get to that. We start at number 3 then. Rachel Maddow, who's on the LGBTQ spectrum. She had Kamala on, and Kamala went on, and a big topic was, why didn't you hire the gay guy to be your vice presidential running mate? But we'll start where it starts. Rachel Maddow, hardcore left-wing Democrat, radical MSDNC, $30 million a year host, twice as much almost as Jimmy Kimmel. And she does one night a week, and nobody watches at all. It's just, and when you're a Democrat and you're part of the propaganda apparatus, it's really good for you. Rachel Maddow and Kamala Harris last night.
You've become the patron saint of I told you so.
In
terms of people
she hasn't.
Understanding the sort of warnings and predictions that you made about what Trump would be like.
What Trump would be like? How about what Biden would be like? You're the patron saint of full of stuff. You're not the patron saint of anything. And she's agreeing. Oh, yeah, I am the patron. Yeah, I warned you that Trump would have low gas prices and low interest rates and bring peace to country after country. And no, that's not what she said. Kamala then talking about, she knows all about Trump.
Right now we are dealing with, as I called him at my speech on the ellipse, a tyrant. Mm-hmm. We used to compare the strength of our democracy to communist dictators. That's what we're dealing with right now in Donald Trump.
Yeah, he's a communist dictator. He's a tyrant. Is that because he, like the Obama-Biden administration, used the IRS against the political enemies of his party? Because Barack Obama did that. How about the FBI and the Justice Department use them against your political enemies? How about lying to the FISA courts to get illegal warrants after you lie to the FISA courts, top secret courts? We don't even know who the judges are on the FISA court. And they lied to with Hillary Clinton's opposition research, which they claimed was an intelligence report, but it was political opposition research. And then they started spying on people, like Naval Academy grads working for President Trump and all of that. And let's see, then the intelligence community, where the intelligence community all came out and said that the legit should be award-winning reporting at the New York Post about Hunter Biden's laptop was all Russian disinformation. Remember that? Is that the tyrant you're talking about? Is that the communist dictatorship where you throw your political enemies in jail, but your rioters don't even find themselves charged with any crimes? 3 days of rioting at the White House, the president evacuated, the church of the president set on fire, 180 cops injured, millions in damage, not a single day in jail for any of the rioters. Then January 6th, oh no, we can't have rioting. Now we got to give people 25 years in prison, like a communist dictatorship would do. There's more on Kamala coming up as well. These people, I'm telling you. You know, the big wireless companies have been pulling one over on all of us for a long, long time now, and it's time to make the switch to consumer cellular. I made the switch. I'm getting the same fast, reliable, nationwide big wireless coverage without the big wireless cost every month. It's not just about saving money on the bill every month, although that's real good. It's also about not being used and abused by the big wireless cell phone companies. You know, do you even know how much data you use every month? I certainly don't. But not all that much. Most people over 50 use less than 8 gigs of data in a month, but the big wireless companies, they shove you, without mentioning it, into an unlimited plan because they want you to cover the cost of 19-year-olds who are using 10 times as much data as you're using. And if you're not using all that data, then you, I'm sorry to report, are the one being used and abused by your own cell phone company. When you've had enough of that, time to make the switch to consumer cellular. Listen, they set me up with a service and a phone. It's incredibly easy. You call on the phone, you talk to an actual human being, not a robot and a touchpad. Based right here in the United States, not on a space platform over the Philippines. Real human beings who are actually helpful. Only takes about 20 minutes to make the switch, so give them a call today. Make that change. Call 800-760-0702. That's 800-760-0702. Yeah, I've got more Rachel Maddow adoring her hero, the loser who didn't win, Kamala Harris. And wait till you hear the rest of this stuff. Coming up.
We used to compare the strength of our democracy to communist dictators. That's what we're dealing with right now in Donald Trump.
gotta say, that really got things going there. That's for sure. And we should go back to the phones because a lot of people called in on one topic, and I want to jump into that. Let's go to Dave, calling from the great state of Iowa. David, you're on the Chris Plant Show.
Hello, Chris.
Hey, Dave.
Hey, I saw an article. I can't find the source again.
Uh-huh.
But supposedly Charlie Kirk wore a thin metal piece of armor under his T-shirt as a safety measure because of his threats. And it had an angle like the old breastplate armor type stuff. And this expert said that what more than likely happened was it hit on that angle, deflected up, and that's why you see such a gaping wound in his neck, because typically bullet wound, entry wounds are not that big and bloody. And I know this from my previous work as a paramedic, that's typically the case. So this was probably deflected, the bullet deformed, and that's why it went in not straight through, but at more of an upward angle, and that's more than likely why it didn't exit.
Yeah, I heard that. Have you seen the raw video of the bullet going into the neck and the blood spraying out? Squirting out. Really squirting more than spraying.
I didn't see the close-up. Yeah, I didn't see the close-up. I really don't want to.
Yeah.
I saw a close-up of the wound shortly after, but didn't see the blood splatter.
Yeah.
But, yeah, it's a rather large wound, and that's typically or that's not typical of an entry wound.
Yeah, and it's also, you would confirm also, you're an Iowa guy and EMT, paramedic. You'd think that type of rifle round would go straight through anyone's neck.
Oh, yeah, if it was a direct hit on his neck, the wound wouldn't be as big and bloody immediately. And, rare circumstance that it hit the vertebrae and did something. But, yeah, that's a powerful enough round that it should have gone straight through. That's
right. Now, I went searching for it, and here is, in quotation marks, he refused to wear a bulletproof vest, end quote. Charlie Kirk's widow recounts shocking details, says she still wears his blood-stained necklace around her neck. But she is quoted here as saying, although he had a lot of death threats, and recently even the fake New York Times has got a story on all the death threats that he had been getting, but his widow said that he refused to wear a bulletproof vest. Also, I think, it's a white T-shirt, and it looks to me like it's and I'm going to go back and look at it again because there are a lot of smart people out there asking a lot of questions, and all questions are legitimate. I'm going to take another look. I'm glad Jim from Lake Geneva brought up this matter, and also Dave weighing in. And the question of a bulletproof vest is out there. I had the Liberal on my Newsmax TV show brought this up too, and I got to say I'm looking at a picture of Charlie sitting on the stage now in a white T-shirt that says "Freedom" across the chest in black, and I do not see anything resembling a bulletproof vest. If it were a metal plate, certainly it would be visible because they don't flex to the shape of your body as a rule, except in Marvel Comics movies. But other than that, and I did see the raw video of the entry point and the blood come squirting out. And it looked like straight from a slightly upward angle where the bullet came from. It didn't look like a deflection, but, who knows? It's moving fast. And I guess, and if you had some kind of a Kevlar vests don't deflect. They take the bullet and just keep it from ripping through you. But the New York Post had a story a couple of days ago, day before yesterday. Some observers speculated that the bullet originally hit his chest and ricocheted upward after striking a possible bulletproof vest under Charlie Kirk's T-shirt. Others were sure it pierced his neck with no obstruction, and I believe that's what I saw, but it makes no sense that it didn't go through. So Kash Patel, the FBI director, said that at least one bizarre rumor regarding a plane that allegedly turned off its transponder after departing from an airport near the assassination site was just a red herring. It sounds like a red herring, to be sure. Early theories before Robinson, the Democrat Party assassin, before Robinson was apprehended, included beliefs that the assassin escaped in a private plane. Sure, well, the internet does that sort of thing, you know. But it is peculiar. To me, I would say the only thing that's really peculiar is that the bullet didn't go through, and I can't explain that. Just can't explain that. I don't know about a deflection off of a T-shirt, and I now see online, a couple. Oh, here's a picture, and we've drawn a circle around something that looks funny under his T-shirt from this one angle, and it looks a little bit funny. It does. But why? And again, his widow, who was his wife at the time, tried to talk him into wearing a bulletproof vest, and she said that he refused to do so. So we've got that. We've got that. But the internet and conspiracy theories, and when things are irregular or inexplicable, you can expect that rumors will spread and that conspiracy theories will blossom. Speaking of which, the conspiracy theories about Kamala Harris are pretty funny, too. And her new book, 107 Days, where she, in the book, doesn't warmly embrace Pete Buttigieg, right? And she was supposed to pick him because he's gay. He likes men, not ladies. He doesn't like the ladies. He likes the men. And Rachel Maddow is an L and a G. She's LG and maybe B. I don't know. In the LGBTQ, she might be Q as well. But I think not T as far as I know. But she had to make a big deal out of this because, and we'll get to that in just a moment. But let me get back to the Kamala Harris talking to her close personal friend and confidant, the Democrat Party spokesmodel, Rachel Maddow. And but Kamala first had to explain, well, wait a minute, you were the vice president, nobody paid any attention to you, and you're famous for mangling every sentence you ever uttered. And Joe Biden was going to march to victory and be the nominee for the Democrat Party, and then things got funny.
Madam Vice President, I have to ask you about the part of your book that has people most upset thus far. Which is some of your writing about the decision around the
hemming and hawing,
abandoning his reelection campaign, the timing there and how it was handled.
Because his brain.
When I write this, it's because I realize that I have and had a certain responsibility that I should have followed through on. Which is, and so when I talk about the recklessness, as much as anything, I'm talking about myself. There was so much, as we know, at stake. And as I write, the where my head was at the time is that it would come off as being completely self-serving.
And you certainly wouldn't want that. As a Democrat in national politics, it might look self-serving. And then they might choose you to be their nominee without having any democratic process at all. Maybe that would be... Now, here comes Rachel Maddow, and she's got a lengthy Pete Buttigieg question because L, G, B, T, and Q, and, they're all on team anti-America. Nobody cares, really. But if Buttigieg has showed up and done his job, he might be in better shape, but he never did that. Has he been to East Palestine, Ohio yet, where the train crash was? Rachel Maddow, you got to be very delicate because it's about the L's and the G's and the B's, if not the T's, probably the Q's. You say in the book really bluntly that your personal first choice for your running mate would have been Pete Buttigieg, and you praise him effusively. You say he would have been an ideal partner if I were a straight man. And you say effectively that demographically it was too much to ask of the American people, to ask them
to elect you with him as your running mate. I wonder if his reaction to that, since this part of the book has come out, if you've had any reflection on that, or I guess I'd ask you to just elaborate on that a little bit. It's hard to hear.
Yeah.
With you running as, you're the first woman elected vice president. You're a black woman and a South Asian woman elected to that high office, very nearly elected president. To say that he couldn't be on the ticket effectively because he was gay is hard to hear.
No. That's exactly what she said. It's exactly what she said, and it's in the book. And then she denies to the LGB lady that it's true. She has the book in front of her, and that's all fine. Kamala, no. And it's very painful to hear that you couldn't have, because you're a black and South Asian and then the gay guy, and you got the Kamala. Now listen to what Kamala said. She says one thing, and then in the same breath, I think she says the opposite.
That's not what I said. That he couldn't be on the ticket because he is gay. My point, as I write in the book, is that I was clear that in 107 days, in one of the most hotly contested elections for President of the United States, against someone like Donald Trump, who knows no floor.
Who knows no floor.
To be a black woman running for President of the United States.
It's Trump.
And as a vice presidential running mate, a gay man, with the stakes being so high, it made me very sad, but I also realized it would be a real risk.
So wait a minute. So which is it? And Rachel Maddow's looking confused, which is not unusual. So you just said that it wasn't because he's gay, but then you just said that you couldn't pick him because he's gay, so you didn't pick him because he's gay. Is that what we're talking about here? So which and Maddow just looking confused, but they're all on Team Democrat, not Team America, Team Democrat. So she just sort of blew that off, and that's just fine, because when you're a Democrat, you can talk out of both sides of your mouth at the same time, and the national news media just nods and looks confused, and then they move on. Isn't that remarkable? But Kamala wants to convince Rachel Maddow that she's really pro-LGB, and if not T, then probably Q.
I've been an advocate and an ally of the LGBT community my entire life. So it wasn't about any prejudice on my part, but
that
we had such a short period of time.
Only 107 days.
And the stakes were so high.
Yeah, because Trump is a communist dictator and a tyrant, and low gas prices, and trying to stop the war in Europe that Joe Biden yawned when it happened, and all that good stuff. No problem. And an advocate and an ally. That's the LGBTQIAA, sometimes QQIAA, advocate, ally. See, ally, and no, not the other A. That's a different thing altogether. Isn't that great? But she really and Pete Buttigieg, he's already been lashing out. He's very angry. He's pounding his little fists.
I think Pete is a phenomenal public servant.
Phenomenal?
And I think America is and would be ready for that. But when I had to make that decision with 2 weeks to go, and maybe I was being too cautious.
2 weeks to go.
I'll let our friends, we should all talk about that.
Too cautious.
Maybe I was. But that's the decision I made. And I, as with everything else in the book, I'm being very candid about that.
Yeah.
Yeah. She approves.
With a great deal of sadness about
great deal of
the
sadness.
fact
you lost
that it might have been a risk.
It might have been now, what the hell are you talking about? You have to disentangle this semantic and pseudo-intellectual train wreck that she just whipped out here and demonstrated for everyone. And Maddow is shaking her head, wondering, what is it that she's trying to communicate? Because it's utterly incoherent. It's they like to use the term word salad with her. And once again, we had another word salad from her. Just amazing. And which is it? And now Buttigieg lashing out, very angry, hissy fit from him. Just amazing. Buttigieg responds to Harris VP snub. You earn voters. Sure, and you earn trust. What they think you're going to do. A picture in Politico, a very angry Pete Buttigieg wagging his finger. Yeah, not categories, not on categories. Are you kidding me? Everything the Democrats do is on and categories is stupid. You mean identity politics? You know, like this one, he's a white man, but he's gay. See, and so that makes him okay because he checks one of the sacred boxes in the Democrat Party's Church of Mental Illness. Isn't that amazing? Yes, it is. And then Rachel Maddow, very excited, the idea that Kamala Harris is going to run for president in 2028. But what do you do about Gavin Newsom in California? And Maddow and Kamala on 2028 running for president.
Will you consider running in 2028?
That's not my focus right now.
I know
it's not my focus.
Non-answer.
I know
it really isn't.
BS.
I'm just going to.
Yeah.
Well, I know you're not considering it now, but are you saying, when you said you're not going to run for governor of California?
Correct.
Were you saying you are never going to run for anything ever again, or were you just saying I'm not going to run for that office right now?
Didn't say anything like that.
That was the decision before me, and I made the decision not to run for governor of California. By the way, there are a lot of great candidates running.
Yeah, there are a lot of great candidates running for president in 2028, Democrats. No, there aren't. And Maddow just sits there, with a stick and doesn't say anything because she's too busy kissing up and sucking up, and they're a disgrace. It's tough to be a disgrace to journalism, but boy, oh boy, that is just amazing. Just amazing. Those people. Yes, sir. Now, last night, back to Charlie Kirk in Minnesota, Minneapolis, St. Paul, Minneapolis, Minnesota last night, was the first Turning Point USA gathering since the assassination by a Democrat of a 31-year-old Republican leader. And the event was huge. There were thousands at this college in Minneapolis, St. Paul, in Minnesota. Thousands, I guess there were, 2,700 inside and another more than 1,000 outside. And they were well behaved. There was no looting. There was no arson. No police were assaulted. It was all very, very civilized. And the crowd broke into chants at one point. Now, did you see this woman from the National Weather Service who posted online that watching the memorial service in Arizona over the weekend terrified her and reminded her of something that she knows nothing about, and that is the Nazis in Germany in the 1930s, because they're always singing hymns and having prayer service and tearful goodbyes to someone that was assassinated by a leftist, and they always, in the Nazi rallies, they always had the crying widow at the event. And this idiot woman from the National Weather Service, another U.S. government employee, just amazing stuff. And she, honestly, it reminded you of Hitler rallies, Nazi rallies. They don't know anything about history. They're misguided, unintelligent, low IQ, brainwashed, glassy-eyed zombies, members of the zombie apocalypse. Just amazing how crazy these people are. Yes, sir. Yeah. As you'd really be terrified by Mass at the Vatican.
The answer to hate is not hate. The answer we know from the gospel is love, and always love.
All right, so much to talk about in so little time. I haven't even gotten to all the Muslims rioting in Italy and what else there? Burning out the Christians. Where's that, in Jordan? I think that one's in Jordan. Yeah, lots of Muslim attacks. Oh, yeah, and this lady from the National Weather Service came up with all this fake stuff just out of her mind. Lauren Nash is her name, meteorologist with the National Weather Service, posted a photo of some other event, not the event in Arizona on Sunday, saying, oh, see, it's Nuremberg in Germany with Hitler. I don't know where you got this picture, but wasn't Arizona, and it's not Germany, and it's not Nuremberg. Not a very bright woman. She should be canned, I think. Let's grab a phone call. Let's go to Tommy on line 6, calling from Sharon, Pennsylvania. Tommy, you're on the Chris Plant Show.
Yes, Mr. Plant, what a pleasure. How are you?
Very well, very well. Fire away.
Biological father was from Sharon?
That's right. Yeah, my grandfather was from Sharon, and we used to go to Sharon, Pennsylvania every summer. We did.
Okay. My comment was the long gun. It was old, so the ammunition might have been old. Okay, and the grain in the ammunition, that all has a factor with Charlie, whether it passes through or not.
Right, you're right. I think it was his grandfather's rifle, if I learned that correctly. And then the ammo that he wrote his transgender inscriptions on and things. You're saying perhaps the ammo was decades old and it wasn't in prime shape. Is that what you're suggesting?
Yes, sir, absolutely. Yeah. And how much grain you put in the ammunition.
Right. Right. How much gunpowder you got in there to, what kind of pack, what kind of wallop it's going to pack. So you're raising questions about whether it was antique ammo and it barely worked at all.
Yes, sir. I mean, that very well could be. I don't know, but it very well could be.
Well, I saw you raising that question on the big board, and I saw you were from Sharon, Pennsylvania, where I used to go as a kid too. So I had to go to, and it's a very interesting thought, Tommy. Thank you.